Have you ever wondered, why don't snakes have legs? Is it because of evolution, or did something happen long ago? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear Muslim brothers and sisters, may Allah bless you all. Today, we're going to explore something that many people might not know. Did snakes used to have legs? And if so, why did Allah take them away? This story appears in classical tafsir and is often linked to a major event when Iblis tempted Prophet Adam and Hawa. But can we really trust this story? What's the basis for it in Islam? And is there any scientific explanation that supports it? Let's dive into it together through tafsir, authentic sources, and a touch of scientific insight. First main story, the snake, Iblis, and the forbidden tree. In one classical interpretation narrated by great scholars such as Ibn Kathir, there is a rather unique and intriguing story. After Iblis, Satan, defied Allah's command to bow to Prophet Adam, he was cast out of paradise and cursed. But Iblis didn't give up. He vowed to lead Adam's descendants astray and sought a way to take revenge. The problem was, Iblis could no longer freely enter paradise. So he devised a plan, and this is where the role of the snake is mentioned. In this account, the snake was a legged creature that lived in paradise. Iblis approached it and persuaded it to become his means of entry into paradise. Eventually, Iblis snuck in through the snake's body, or as some narrations say, through its mouth, and managed to get close to the forbidden tree, the one Allah had already prohibited Prophet Adam and his wife Hawa, Eve, from approaching. Near that tree, Iblis began his deception. He whispered lies and temptation, claiming that if Adam and Hawa ate from the tree, they would live forever and become like the angels. In the end, Adam and Hawa gave in. They ate from the tree and disobeyed Allah's command. That's when Allah's anger descended, and each party involved received a specific punishment. Iblis was cursed forever. Adam and Hawa were sent down to earth to begin human life. And the snake, who aided Iblis, was not spared from punishment. It is said that Allah removed its legs, and from that point on, the snake became a creature that slithers on the ground, no longer walking as it once did. This story is often found in classical tafsir, not as a primary narrative from the Quran, but as supplemental storytelling used to provide more context behind the incident of the forbidden tree. Second scholarly explanation. What is Israeliyat? Now comes the question, did that story really happen? Did snakes truly have legs, and were they punished by Allah for helping Iblis? This is where it's important to understand a term often mentioned in Islamic exegesis, Israeliyat. Israeliyat refers to stories that originate from Bani Israel, the ancient Jewish and Christian communities. These stories entered Islamic tafsir through Jewish converts to Islam, such as Ka'ab al-Ahbar or Wahb ibn Munabbih. They were previously people of the book, and many of them narrated old traditions that were later transmitted by some classical Islamic scholars. The story about the snake having legs and assisting Iblis falls into this category. It's not explicitly mentioned in the Quran, and no authentic hadith from Prophet Muhammad confirms it. Scholars like Ibn Kathir did include this story in their tafsir, but not as a matter of faith or belief. Rather, it was presented as a narrative supplement, helping to illustrate the events surrounding the descent of Prophet Adam to earth. The Prophet Muhammad himself gave a clear warning in a hadith narrated by Al-Bukhari. Do not affirm nor deny the stories of Bani Israel. This means that we may listen to or share such stories as long as they do not contradict the Quran or authentic Sunnah, but we should not fully believe in them as absolute truth. So even if the story is interesting and morally insightful, we must be cautious because it is not a source of legal evidence, but rather an additional narrative found in certain tafsir. It can be told, but not taken as absolute fact. Three, the snake in Islamic perspective, a creature to be cautious of. Beyond the tafsir story about the snake's legs, Islam also regards snakes as creatures to be cautioned against, not just physically, but also spiritually. In several authentic hadiths, Prophet Muhammad warned Muslims to be careful with snakes, especially if they are found inside the house. One of these warnings appears in a hadith narrated by Muslim. Indeed, in Medina there are jinn who have embraced Islam, so if you see a snake in your home, give it a warning 3 times. If it appears again, then kill it, for it is a devil. Hadith narrated by Muslim. This hadith shows that not all snakes are merely animals. Some may be manifestations of jinn, or even devils in disguise. That's why Islam views snakes not only as physically dangerous, but potentially as spiritual threats as well. Snakes also appear in the stories of the prophets. Prophet Musa, Moses. His staff was transformed into a large serpent when confronting Pharaoh's magicians, a clear sign of divine power. In this context, the snake becomes a symbol of trials and miraculous strength, not just an ordinary animal. So from the perspectives of tafsir, hadith, and prophetic stories, snakes are often presented as creatures tied to tests, warnings, or disturbances. This doesn't mean we are to hate snakes, but rather, Islam teaches us to be vigilant, wise, and mindful when dealing with any of Allah's creations, even those that may seem small or insignificant. Fourth scientific insight. Did snakes really have legs? Interestingly, the idea that snakes once had legs doesn't just appear in classical Islamic tafsir. Modern science also offers its own perspective. Paleontologists, scientists who study fossils and ancient life forms, have discovered that some ancient snake fossils show physical structures resembling legs. One of the most well-known species is called Tetrapodophyes amplectus, a name from Latin which literally means four-legged snake. This creature is believed to have lived millions of years ago. It had a long, slender body like modern snakes, but scientists found small limb-like structures underneath, remnants of legs, both near the front and the rear. Based on these findings, many scientists conclude that early snakes most likely had legs, but over time, those structures either disappeared or shrank due to environmental adaptation or biological evolution. So, does this prove that the story in the tafsir is scientifically accurate? Of course, we can't make that conclusion. Because as Muslims, we don't base our beliefs on science, nor do we take Israeliyat, stories from earlier Jewish and Christian traditions, as absolute sources of truth. But still, this serves as a reminder. Sometimes unexpected parallels appear between modern knowledge and ancient stories passed down by Islamic scholars. Not as confirmation, but as an invitation to reflect. Allah's knowledge is vast, and often humans only begin to understand it little by little over time. Regardless of whether the story is literally true or not, there's a powerful lesson behind it. Never be a pathway for evil. In the story, the snake wasn't the main wrongdoer, but because it helped evil happen, it was still punished. In life, we often say things like, "I just helped a little," or "I was just following along." But if we're supporting something wrong, even passively, the consequences can be serious. In this world, and maybe even in the next. Dear Muslim brothers and sisters, this story is not part of Islamic creed and must not be believed as an absolute truth. It falls under the category of Israeliyat, Stories that can be told for reflection, but not used as the basis of belief. So let's stay wise and critical when hearing stories like these. Let's learn to distinguish between narrative, tafsir, and authentic evidence. If you enjoy content like this, exploring stories from tafsir, Islamic history, and life lessons, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. See you in the next video. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Before I conclude, please allow me to sincerely apologize if in this presentation there were any words that were inappropriate or unintentional mistakes. As a human, I am certainly not free from errors. May Allah forgive all my shortcomings and mistakes, and I hope that you all can forgive me as well. My hope is that what has been conveyed today can become beneficial knowledge and bring us closer to His pleasure. Thank you for your attention and patience.